Good morning. Glad to have you here. And this week, I guess I should say even this month, is just flying by. Almost done with both of them. And so just glad to have you here today. And I want you to take your Bible and turn back with me this morning to the 26th Psalm. The 26th Psalm. Great Psalm. David is writing in the utmost confidence here. He's writing of his confidence, of his ability to stand before the Lord. He's talked about that he's able to stand before God because he trusts in God. David is not bragging on his own abilities here, but because of what God is doing in him. And so in verse 1, he has confidently stood before God with a clean conscience. Challenge for us. Now we're going to pick up in the second verse where David is going to continue in that same area with two really brave words, or four total, I guess. Examine me, O Lord. Those are brave words. Those are confident words. Examine me, O Lord. And so David invites God to come in and to check him out, to come in and to, as he says, examine him, look him over, up and down, look through him, every part of his life, everything about him, and he is going to, and look at something here. If you look at verse 2, he says, examine me, then he says, prove me, then he says, try me. And so that's a great deal of confidence that David is showing. He's almost demanding that God check him out, examine him, prove him, try him. That God would come in and again walk through everything about him. When David says at the end of this psalm, try my reins, he has, I think, in some ways taken this even a step further. It's one thing to say, when I think about those statements, examine me, prove me, try me, it's to me, and just my thought, here is David is saying, look at my actions. See what I've done. You see my life laid out before you, and Lord, it's clean. It's clear. I'm confident of my walk. But then he says something that boy, it gets really serious here when he makes that statement. Try my reins. When he talks about reins, he's talking about his motives. He said, Lord, examine my motives. Now, again, that's a really brave statement for us to make, for us to pray. There are, I know I'm not letting any great cat out of the bag. There are a lot of people who do the right thing, but they do it for the wrong reasons. I can think of a lot of examples in the church. Someone might take, say, a class, teach a class in the church, teach the children's class, not because they felt led by God or because they felt called into working with children, but because they wanted everybody in the church to pat them on the back and tell them how good they were and brag on them, or someone who stands up to sing or play an instrument, maybe the same thing. It's not about God getting the glory. It's not about God leading them to that particular ministry. It is about them receiving the praise and the glory themselves. and or even, I don't want anybody to think I'm just throwing stones in one. I mean, it's possible to as well for preachers to stand up and to preach with the wrong motive. Again, we all know that, and so but David that's what he's saying here when he says, "Try my reins." He's saying, "Lord, look into my inner being, try my reins and my heart," he says. So he's saying to God, don't just look on the outside, check out the inside, and see what is going on in my life. And I think one of the things that's possible here with this psalm is that this was written at a time maybe when he was fleeing from Absalom and had been accused of some things, and David is defending himself. He's standing before God. Maybe it was when he was fleeing from Saul. And Saul was making accusations that David was trying to steal the throne, something along those lines. And David is pleading his case to God, saying, Lord, check me out inside and out. You know that I am innocent. You know that I'm not guilty of these things that I've been accused of. And so he's asking God again for this, Lord, look me in and out. He's wanting to be. I think when David says that in verse 2, the other side of that is, again, I don't think David is saying that from an arrogant, prideful position, or therefore, if he was saying it from pride, he would fail the examination, because we know God hates pride. So he wasn't saying it from a proud position. I think he was, as odd as this may sound to you, just the opposite. I think it was from a very humble position that David was coming to God saying, God, check me out, examine me, make sure that there's nothing there that is wrong, nothing there that needs to be removed from my life. The word, when he says, for example, try my reins, that is the Hebrew word there. Is the word that was used in refinery, the refining of metals, and so that when they refine the metals, it's when you heat them up and you melt them down to get out any of the impurities. I remember years ago working in jewelry, and back then it was a real popular style. People, today they sell their gold, but back then folks would bring in their class rings, their old jewelry, and pay me good money to destroy it. I thought it was really cool. But I would take their jewelry and I'd make a pile of all their gold, and I would get my torch and I would go to work and I'd melt that gold down, and it turned into one big. As it got hot, it would turn into one big glowing ball of gold. And then I'd take my tools and begin to manipulate that molten wad of gold into the shape to make a nugget necklace out of it. But in the process of heating it up, as that gold went from solid to liquid, you had to be careful. And wear goggles and be careful, because as it was heated, many times if there was an impurity, and there always is, 14 karat gold is not pure gold. It has some alloys in it. When you heat it up, sometimes they will pop out of it, and I've had shirts and pants burned because of that. But that heating process, that trying process that David is talking about here, that refining process, is what removes the impurities. And so what I think David again is saying is not from a from an arrogant position, but from an humble position of, Lord, put me in the fire. Test me. See if there's anything that when you heat me up, see if there's anything that that pops out and is if there's anything hidden there that I'm not aware of. Lord, I want you to show me that. And verse 3, then he tells us why. He wants to, you may wonder, why in the world would somebody want to expose themselves to that kind of an examination? And verse 3 tells us, it starts, for thy loving kindness. If I was writing that for us today in 2020 English, I would write it like this: because of thy loving kindness. Well, I don't guess thy loving kindness is 2020 English, but because of your loving kindness. And so David says, examine me, prove me, try me because of your loving kindness. So you got to take those two verses together as one statement. Lord, I want you to examine me, prove me, try me because of you, because your loving kindness is before me and I've walked in your eyes. He's saying, Lord, your loving kindness has been such a motivator for me that I want to be a better person. I've heard people, I've heard especially guys say that they would start dating a young lady, and the young lady be a good, and I've heard guys say, you probably have as well, something real romantic, her love makes me want to be a better person. Well, that's kind of what David is saying here. David is saying, examine me, try me, prove me, because your love is in front of me. How much you love me is motivating me to see you and to be faithful to you, and so there's a good lesson there for us, that even in the middle of whatever's going on around David, what keeps David on the track, the right track, is that he's got his eyes on the love of God. And that's a great lesson, I think, for us in the world that we live in today, that because of the loving kindness of God, because He has been so good to us, we want Him to examine us, to prove us, to try us, so that we can, as He says, that we can walk in His truth, that His love is in front of us. And I'm going to move kind of quickly here on these last two verses, but he says, I have not sat with vain persons, neither will I go in with dissemblers. I have hated the congregation of evildoers, and will not sit with the wicked. And so David, see if I want to carefully put those four verses into kind of modern English for us. David says, Lord, look me over, check me out, show me anything in my life that's not pleasing to you, because your love has motivated me to be a better person. And because of that, I'm going to walk in your truth. I'm going to separate myself from evil. I'm going to separate myself from bad people, from vain persons, dissemblers, or liars. I've hated the congregation of evildoers, and will not sit with the wicked. And that word sit, when it's used in this context, is the idea of not just sitting down in a chair beside of them, but that you kind of take on, you hang out with them. David's saying, I'm not gonna associate with sinners. I'm going to be separate from sinners. Lord, examine me, look at me. Your love has motivated me. If I put it in one simple sentence, God, check me out, show me anything in my life that doesn't belong, because your love for me has motivated me to walk closer to you and to be a better person. My prayer for you today is that you will take those same words of David and that we would be so brave as to say, Lord, examine me, prove me, try me, show me anything in my life that doesn't belong, because your love has motivated me to walk in truth and to live for you. I hope today, as you go through today, that'll be the case, that the love of God will motivate you and encourage you to live for Him, and as the New Testament says, to come out and be separate from this world. That even though we live in this world, we don't have to live like this world. All right, hope that helps you. Have a good day. Hope that helps you through some burdens and some problems as you go through today. We'll see you back here first thing tomorrow morning.